Artwork, critiques, Photoshop files, and reference sheets are all available on my Patreon. Well, hello there guys, how the devil are you? My name's Mikey and welcome along to another episode of Draw with Mikey, episode 140. Guys, it has been about 2 months since episode 139. My apologies, it's supposed to be a weekly series, but as you probably noticed, I had to take a bit of time off from YouTube, just sorting out some life stuff which just loves to pop up and surprise me and give us a few challenges. However, Daddy is back from the shops. I finally got those cigarettes I popped off to say I was going to get. I hope you guys are all doing well. So before we get into a little bit of a catch up and I start reading your comments, a quick recap for anybody who's new. Hi, this is the super casual midweek series. It's very rough around the edges and unedited, and basically I'm just going to be sharing with you guys whatever artwork I happen to have been working on recently. So that could be anything from good polished products to just absolute rubbish in my sketchbook, and maybe you guys are getting your own artwork or projects and stuff done in the background and just leaving me on basically for a bit of a ramble over the next hour. So of course, I always recommend, can you hear this? A lovely cup of tea. Let's have a sip. And most importantly, this whole kind of series is just to stop YouTube being a one-way street. I want to actually get in touch with you guys. So if you've got any thoughts, feeling, comments, feedback, or answers to my questions, get your lovely, lovely selves on this lovely, lovely YouTube into the comments section below. And with any luck, I'll be reading it sometime next episode around. And oh my god, there's so many things to remember. That next episode should be either on a Wednesday or a Thursday. Ideally, it's a midweek thing. This one is out on a Friday just because I didn't quite get round to warming back up into things. And there's no video out this weekend. So, you know, I'm just going to stick this one here and just say hello to you guys. Also, because it's been so long since I've done this, just forgive me if anything gets awkward or I've forgotten how to do something. Because I just need to warm my sweet self back up into it. So guys, hi, I hope you're doing well. In the last episode, episode 139, we did some Kurenai times Itachi stuff. It was the last of my trilogy of Naruto fan art pieces. And in that episode, I specifically asked you just to share any moments with me involving video games that had like a really strong emotional impact. So I'm going to be reading through your comment section. That's probably going to be the theme of some of your answers. But I've also got a question for you today. It's nice to theme them, isn't it? Basically, guys, I recently got asked, what do I look for in video games? And accordingly, I'm going to be asking you, what do you guys look for in video games? In terms of not just, I like racing games, I like action games. What is it that actually keeps you locked into a really good one? Is it purely for graphics? Is it because it's got an excellent story? Or is it because you really invest and buy into the characters? Or is it just games where you spend 90% of the time having no idea what's actually going on, and it's that element of mystery that keeps you locked in? So yeah, I'd love to hear your examples on that. Get into the comment section with your reasons why, basically, and I'm going to steal them so that I can obviously line them up for my own gaming experiences in the future. That's secretly what we're actually doing. I'm just stealing all your ideas. Welcome to the show. Also, anything else that I definitely wanted to catch up on? Yeah. Oh, okay. So 2 other bits. This is episode 140. Guys, I can't believe that we're making our way along here. It's absolutely fantastic. That means we are 10 episodes away from 150. That's a benchmark episode, which is going to be a live stream right here on YouTube. So in about 10 weeks time, and it's going to be great. We're going to draw live, chat together. There's going to be tablet giveaways, obviously, and other fun stuff. So I'll kind of talk about that a bit more as we get a bit further down the line into this year. And in the meantime, if you guys have been missing old Uncle Mikey, you can always actually come join me live on twitch.tv/mikeymegamega. Yeah, I hang out on Twitch a lot these days, still doing the exact same thing as usual, drawing and chatting nonsense. And in the background of today's video, you're going to see that I've been recently working on Aerith from Final Fantasy VII, kind of triggered by the Final Fantasy VII remake. There we go. I'm getting some breath. I wanted the next few ladies, because I'm trying to do them in sets of 3 these days for different franchises. I wanted the next few ladies to be our Final Fantasy VII girls. Don't worry, I'm going to start reading your comments any moment. So we're starting with Aerith, the flower girl, who always suspiciously to me, despite being just a flower seller for 1 or 2 GIL per flower in the slums, her family, or her and her mum, managed to afford the nicest available house in the slums, in direct sunshine, surrounded by flowers and gardens, big rooms, loads of space, spare bedroom for Marlene, etc. How is Aerith honestly making all of that money? So I wanted to depict her as the flower girl, but really just focus on the hips and thighs for this particular Aerith character. And for those of you who are kind of like into your own artwork and painting stuff, you might notice that the last 3 that I did for Naruto was very much my clean anime method. So get the line art correct as early as possible, which takes forever, and then paint it in and follow a very set process to get from A to B. Bosh, you're eventually done. This time, as a result, I wanted to go back into the more painty texture method of things. So I'm using a lot of rough brushes. I'm just roughing out the overall forms and shapes, smashing down some low saturation color really, really early into the process. Just so that about 3 hours of work into the thing, I know for a fact whether or not I want to commit to the piece or if I'm going to scrap it and do something again. So you get very different results. It's a completely different exploration. I will talk, excuse me, I'm burping my tea. Did I say that this is an unedited rough kind of series? I will talk more about that in the future when I do some actual digital painting videos on those 2 different methods, how they contrast and what qualities I get from one versus what qualities I get from the other. And sorry if, as you're watching the time-lapse to this, it all goes weird or I start doing other stuff on screen. That's because most of this was painted live on Twitch. Come on, come join me live, where we also just derp about and just become total idiots. So I've got no idea what actually has been caught in this footage today. Also, one last thing. Let me just sip this again. Old Uncle Mikey needs his tea, you see. The last thing is, yes, this Aerith fan art piece and all of the naughtier versions and so on is part of my Patreon catch-up. This is the March pack. So I just want to do a quick shout out to the March patrons from way back in the day. At the end of this video, you're going to see all my lovely patrons who support me and allow this to happen, who have been super patient, kind of scrolling on the screen. But because this is a catch-up from some old schoolers, a quick shout out to Mighty Mega X, Akumu Arts, Carlos R, Brendan J, Melissa, Anthony C, and Homongchi L. Those are the highest tier guys who get all the extra dojin stuff. So basically, imagine a lot of these fan arts that I do that you guys see or that end up on my Instagram, etc. They're really the cover page for some very, very short kind of dojin stuff. But this isn't a Patreon sell, especially seeing as I'm behind on Patreon and always catching up. That's just an explanation of what I've been working on. Guys, I think we are there. I think we've all caught up. Thanks for bearing with that massive expulsion of information. That's just me trying to make sure I'm kind of hitting all the boxes of things I thought we need to communicate. But yeah, back on the series, back doing stuff. It's not quite going to be perfect at the moment as we lead up till Christmas, but I would like to think that you're going to be weekly, at least regularly seeing content up on this channel. I've got some more tablet reviews to do. We've got some more tutorials that we want to get cracking with, and ideally, at least get the DWMs pumping back out. So let's get to the comment section of last episode. Kimberly Corsi says, the fact that Kisame's sword is just chilling there. Yeah, so, like I said, that last episode's a Kurenai times Itachi piece. I actually put Kisame in there as a loose idea as part of the overall composition. And then I had to remove him because it made the kind of corner that his face would have been in too visually busy in terms of lines, and also too visually dark because he's got all of that dark blue Akatsuki, dark black Akatsuki jacket going on, and the piece overall would have just been too dull and flat. It's all browns and black colours, so I had to take him out, but I did quite like that the sword was still there. Big Bro says, I see there are dislikes, it must be Azuma Sensei. Yeah, indeed. So those kind of dojin ideas that I've got over there, they're not very canon specific, and a lot of you guys don't like your favourite characters from Naruto being a bit naughty on the side. I understand. Lotus Asakura says, never forget that this woman tried to put Itachi Uchiha in a genjutsu. Yeah, Old Kurenai's only got one trick up her sleeve, bless her heart, and it's compounded even worse by some Naruto filler episodes where nothing original happened. They just made her do the same thing again. She's good for making you think a tree has appeared and then you might be stuck in the tree. That's like that's her only jazz. Also, Lotus Asakura, I'm trying to work out if I've spoken to you on Twitch or if you might be a YouTuber. Wait a minute. Wait, one sec. It's kind of familiar. Oh, dude! Oh, hello there. Thank you very much for getting all up in my comments. Hope you're doing bloody well. Oh, wow. I'm blushing. Also, we've got Heather Wright saying, I've been trying to draw people for years and I've never had a process I like until I've found your videos. I've got a long way to go, but I'm drawing now more than ever. Thanks, Mikey. Hey, Heather Wright. Thank you very much for saying. And yeah, of course, that's the whole point. I'm just an idiot derping around trying to get better at art. It turns out a lot of us are idiots derping around trying to get better at art. I'm just happy to share the few things I know, which is a lot of beginner stuff. So if any of that has been a help, yeah, that makes me really happy to hear. I hope you guys are all getting your drawing and artwork done. And of course, if you are working on something right now, get in the comments, tell me what that is. And also specifically, why or what about particular video games actually do it for you. Anyway, Froggit says, brah, she's looking fine as hell, not gonna lie. Also, Mikey, Femboy Hooters art coming anytime soon. Love your art and keep up the good work. Oh, let's drink some tea and think about this one. Femboy Hooters. Yeah, I'm down. Isn't that called raisins? Anyway, Artist Extraordinaire says, Mikey, I don't think her chest is big enough. YouTube, I sense a disturbance in the force. Also, have you read Ikigami The Ultimate Limit? Basically, the government gives kids a vaccine, but this vaccine contains a nanobot, and it's like a death slip. It tells you the daytime. Oh, it tells you when you're going to die? Wait, what? It's not for everybody, but you get the nano if you're lucky. Okay, so I'm always asking you guys for suggestions to anime. I don't massively understand exactly what you said, Artist Extraordinaire. Do you remember they kind of abandoned an entire story arc in Gantz? Does anybody remember, who's read Gantz, that is, adult warning, there was a bit with all of the vampires, and then the main kid's younger brother turned out to be one of the vampires as well, and they're all like ancient nanobots or something, and it's mental. And then all of a sudden, I guess that story arc wasn't too popular because you got left with two vampire characters that moved over to the Osaka story arc where things got mental, and everything else just kind of got pushed under the bed or something. Anyway, Stella Fruit says, I like to pull out a nice snack when watching these. Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for joining along. Fill your sweet, sweet face with Orveda crisps and sweets do it for you. And Vivacious Alice says, I'm just here to thank you for being so great and wholesome, Mikey. Oh, hey, thank you very much. Wholesome is only what people call me if they've gotten to know me. At first glance, I don't seem very wholesome, but I promise I only want good things to happen and people to look after each other. I'm still listening to all of your past Draw of Mikey episodes whilst practicing witchcraft. Drawing. And it's like a trip to the past. Plus, I'm copying all of the great anime and games and other suggestions into notepad files, just like you do. This is the magic. I'm just not in touch with anything, so I ask you guys what's going on in the world and what all the good stuff is, and yeah, it all goes into one of my many notepad files. Hides in the Basement says, you definitely do want to play Nier Automata. Really? Okay, so as you guys might be aware, this is one of those games I'm still feeling more negative than positive towards, but I'm kind of on the fence about. I'm never quite sure if that game is genuinely going to be a worthwhile experience for me to actually sit down and give it a go. However, you say you come for the booty, but you stay for the existential dread and pain. Oh, good. Feel good hit of the summer. I'm down. Wait. Okay, read more. And for another episode, Leonardo da Vinci's Last Supper, except they're all thick anime waifus. You want me to do the Last Supper? Oh, hey, I remember what we were talking about. Okay, yeah, thick anime Last Supper waifus. Come, Doubting Thomas, stick your fingers in my... No, anyway. Glasses Art says, that feeling of completion when Mikey reads your comment. Well, I think I've just double bagged you in them. My emotional side says the world is whole, but my rational side says the world is whole when you die. Hey, Glasses Art, one day there'll be a place without you. I can't wait, and I bet you can't either. High five. Bazinga says, draw the cat girl from Hunter x Hunter. Oh, Bazinga, what makes you assume she's definitely a girl? Yeah, this is Nefertiti, right, that you're talking about? Dude, I fucking love Nefertiti, and also, I've drawn her before. It was, it wasn't a super, in-depth thing, but I've drawn her before for an old tablet review somewhere in the past. And yeah, I love her character and I love her vibe. Obviously, I'm a Hunter x Hunter fanboy. And Sick Gamey says, amazing work, Mikey. Why, thank you very much. Oh, it's slick. Even better. It literally made me inspired. Also, I have a request. Please do an anime facial expression tutorial, like the way you make a Ahego and stuff like that, please. I just want to learn from the best. Hope you get better soon. Oh, yeah. Oh my god, do you know what? You've just, hey, thank you very much for the kind words. One, yes, I do actually want to do a tutorial that follows a singular emotion in an escalating fashion. So I don't want to sit here and just be like, here's a happy face, here's a sad face, here's a grinning face, blah, blah, blah. But I'm thinking maybe of splitting these tutorials into, here are different levels of joy. So start off with a smiling face, fairly simple building blocks, and then a really happy face. Okay, so what are we expanding? How do you show that by squeezing in the cheeks and change the shape of the eyes? Then a super happy face, ultimate joy, everything's great. We really kind of exaggerate a few of the features. The eyebrows are going really high. And then the final one can be, the height of happiness, the Ahego face, and kind of what are some of the constructs of that. So yeah, and then kind of do the same, unhappy and frustration over to fury. I think that might be kind of like a good way to split up facial kind of tutorials whilst stopping each episode from being too long. So definitely something to think about. Also, dude, I think you reminded me. I think I recorded the last episode, 139, when I was still recovering from the food food poisoning. I was saying to somebody the other day that I will eat anything and I'm fairly robust, but the only side effect is that I sometimes make myself incredibly ill, and then they pointed out that that probably means I'm not as robust and I should probably stop eating everything. But sometimes you make a poisoned apple and sometimes you eat it. Doesn't anybody read fairy tales? This stuff happens. It's absolutely fine. I'm not going to go into details. Thank you for your concern and your kind words. Exploding party hats. Oh, that's interesting. Says, hey Mikey, hello there dude. I wanted to tell you a story. Okay, let's get comfortable. One time I was drawing an anime girl and I wanted to show it to a friend. I showed it to her and she called me an amateur cartoon porn artist, and I thought that wasn't an epic gamer moment. What do you think? Well, if your illustrations were of an amateur nature and they were rather pornographic, maybe she was spot on. Who knows? You'll have to share your artwork and then we can actually come to opinions. But for reals, when I was growing up and I was kind of into anime when a lot of my friends weren't, one of them, more than one of them in particular, was just like, I don't trust that anime stuff. I think it's all just porn. And I'm like, no, man, you don't understand. It's art, man. You need to watch Akira. Whoa. And he's just like, no, I'm pretty certain it's all porn. So you're always going to get people like that who are kind of put off by it. And equally, that's been a massive concern of mine for years back in the day, because I love doing spicy fan arts. It's never quite full H, it's never quite full off-brand, but it always walks that line a little bit because I think it's fun. And also because those big assets, let's say, draw in an audience. Next thing you guys know, I've got you drawing, I've got you actually putting a pencil to the paper, you're in, you become artists, I've increased the amount of people who've engaged with anime and tried drawing in a world, and thus my job is done. For that's why I'm here. I think that's my purpose. Anyway, did anybody watch A Dog's Purpose? I heard that in the making of that film, they actually treated the dogs really, really badly and didn't like some leaked footage go on the internet where they're throwing a dog into like a fake river or something. Anyway, long story short, just keep drawing. If you haven't tried drawing, give it a go. Einar Izawan says he's interested in Nier Automata. I'm going to sell the game to him some more. Oh wow, we've got some real Nier hardcore fanboys. Okay. Excuse me. Essentially, the game brought the theme, meaning of life, to an android life form setting. The gameplay to me is around level A, whilst the visual art is a solid A+. The storytelling is superb. Really? Because that's a big thing for me. Mikey likes the storytelling. It's unique on its presentation, different character perspectives, mind-boggling world. It has a very convoluted universe with connection to past games like Nier Replicant and the Drakengard series. Wait, do I need to play any of those games, or can I just go straight into Automata if I did? With a lot of interesting twists. Lastly, the most amazing aspect is the character development. The game is relatively short, but getting the true ending requires the second playthrough. That's interesting. One sec. More than one playthrough affects the perspective of the story. Okay, I know, that's how you make me interested into a game. I'm not saying for definite, but I'm adding that to the notepad file. That's another one for the yeses. Arta E says, this is a copy-paste from last week's episode. Dude, absolutely perfect. Like I say to you guys, if you've written something down recently for me to read and I've missed it, because I try to, basically, sometimes I read the chat from the top, sometimes I actually open all of it and I'll read from the bottom up, and sometimes I pick at random, just so that I'm catching a lot of you guys as widely as possible for a conversation. But if I have missed what you've got to say, do not be scared to copy and paste it into the comments section of today's episode, and with any luck, I'll catch it next time. So Arthur E is persevering. I remember a moment that wasn't really a story, but rather a scene or an event in Battlefield 1, I think. I can't really remember. And by the way, obviously you're answering my question about stuff in video games or moments in video games that really hit you. There was a moment in the very beginning of the game where you played as several soldiers on a battle... I know exactly what you're talking about! Yeah, it's Battlefield 1. It's the one set in the First World War. Whereas you play as several soldiers on a battlefield, and every time you died as one of the soldiers, his name would pop up with the date of death below it. There was that moment where you played as a soldier in a tank, and as you were driving the tank, you were able to see a German soldier who dropped his gun, sitting in the middle of the field, crying for his mother while cowering. Oh fuck. And as you sit there with the barrel of your tank aiming at him, oh my god, you have to decide whether you want to shoot your enemy or spare his life. This was a powerful moment, so powerful in fact, I actually placed my controller aside and started to share a tear with that very soldier. I never hesitated to shoot at a bunch of pixels that much in that moment. Yeah, so from what I remember seeing a few bits of Battlefield 1, or the one set in the First World War, is that it really just hits home the incredible, disgusting loss of life at the drop of a hat, in the trenches, at the front, and just what a miserable anti-war sentiment it kind of gives you. I should play that game. Do you know I have that? I got that game with my PlayStation 4 bundle back in the day. That, plus Call of Duty Infinite Warfare, so two very different feeling games, I'm sure. And I've never really tried either of them, because I'm terrible at FPS. That being said, I did actually have a cheeky... Guys, come join me on Twitch. Maybe this entire episode, it's just an advert to get you to come hang out with me live so I can talk to you directly. But I had a go at the Call of Duty Cold War alpha testing they did over a couple weekends ago, or was it last weekend? And that game is wild and a lot of fun, but you know, you need to be very, very good, and you need to be very, very quick. And it very much kind of, you know, you enjoy the murder, you enjoy the battle, you die, you come back to life, you die, you come back to life, new map, same story. But Battlefield 1's introduction was just like, guys, this is some of the shit that was going on in the First World War, and it, you know, things didn't get much better. It was horrific. Yeah, things were never the same. Okay, dude. Yeah, no, that's a great example, by the way. Sophia is Lost, by the way, says, firstly, don't you have neighbours who saw you throwing up in the front yard? And secondly, we're still talking about this. Look, sometimes Mikey poisons himself. I don't do it on purpose. It's not a cry for help. And secondly, why don't you draw Horned Scold from the serif of the end on Wari on serif? Owari, end in Japanese. Owari on serif. If you haven't seen the anime, go watch it. It's really good. Well, Sophia, I'm going to be adding that to my suggestions folder. Thank you very much. No, they didn't. Oh, well, my relationship with my neighbours is a big mix. Oh, my God. There's something going... I think my neighbours are changing something to do with a water supply, and I think that might affect me. I need to look into that. Thank you very much for the reminder. But thank you also for the suggestion. And Dominic Bennett says, Dawnbringer, Riven times Nightbringer, Yasuo from a game called League of Legends. Okay, they are two opposites, her being the light and him being the darkness. I would really love to see them in your art style. More great suggestions. I have never played League. You guys probably heard me say that before. And I intend to play League, or at least give it a try for a good solid weekend before I dive in and start doing some character fan arts. And we've got two more Final Fantasy ladies right now. In fact, you know what? If you're listening to this episode right now, there is a chance that I am live on... Yeah, you said it again. Live on Twitch, currently painting Tifa. I'm literally in the middle of rendering her as the second of this series, so pop in, say hi. But dude... eventually after that, I was thinking either we're going to do more Bleach ladies or some Cyberpunk ladies, or yeah, maybe I just need to dive into League. I will put a poll up on Twitter at some point just to get you guys' feedback and see what else we're doing for our Patreon catch-up fan arts. And Kenk says, this one reminded me of the Black Pudding episode. The memories. Dude. Okay, that's a blast from the past. You've been hanging around for a while. Casey NQ. Yeah, okay. So before the poisoned apple, there was a black pudding. And look, I don't want to think about it. I remember nearly throwing up in that episode back when I was thinking about the black pudding. I'm not going to give anybody else any explanation for that. No context. Somebody whose name's in Japanese, but a little bit too detailed for me to quite get. Woka? You trying to say Joker? Says, I decided to try his art style for a whole day, and my favourite one was Toka and Landlines with their daughter from Tokyo Ghoul. I spent 11 hours on it, especially on the background and the eyes, and it was annoying. And also, 2,000 likes on this video are too low for how much work this dude puts into his... But have I got over 2k likes? Let me scroll up. Holy shit. 3.3 thousand likes. That's amazing. Guys, can I just stop and say... One, this channel seems to do okay without me. When I'm not here, the channel still grows. So hello, everybody. Thank you so much. Don't think I don't massively appreciate it. We are currently, let me just scroll back up. I haven't checked. At over 830,000 subscribers. That is insane. That is insane. Whoa. Okay, thank you very much, guys. Thank you very much. Yeah, no. Thank you very much for saying as well. Okay, let me just scroll back down into the conversation with you guys. Randall Lowe says, Mikey, hello there, Randall. I just discovered your channel and I'm loving it. Oh, thank you very much. It's reinforced my desire to get better at character art, but I have a long way to go. Mate, we all have this journey at some point. Sci-fi and fantasy books to recommend. Mistborn by Sanderson. It is a complete series. This is how you give me a correct answer. You only suggest a reading series that's actually complete. And The Land by Alarian Kong, which is ongoing. Skyward by Sanderson is ongoing and it's a first novel, but it is pretty self-contained. And Steelheart by Sanderson. Somebody's a Sanderson fan? Okay. I also heard your comments about the Deathgate cycle and Hugh was the best. Hugh the Hand! We got a Hugh. Randall Lowe. You and me are now officially friends. Yeah. Yeah, fantastic. And also a game remake, Shadow of the Colossus for the PS4. Good sir, that's been recommended to me before. I have Shadow of the Colossus waiting in the wings to soon, eventually, one day maybe be played. As for animes, we've got a few more suggestions for you and... Another person backing up Nier Automata. Everything the last guy said is spot on. There's so much in-game depth, definitely worth playing for more than just her bum. Well, do you know what? That's 3 of you delicious people in my comment section telling me to get off the fence involving Nier and turn a possible no into an actual yes. I'm adding all of your suggestions into my notepad file and just putting a +1 on the Nier Automata. Okay, thank you very much, dude. So guys, all of those live stream video games, I do all of it live and chill out with you lovely people in chat. You guessed it, on twitch.tv/mikeymegamega. But I also then send all of that game footage over to the other channel, Mega 2, like just the second channel that just has all of the derping that we do live. So thank you very much. Lofeo Studios, thank you very much for the kind words and introduction, by the way. Lofeo Studios says, I found your tutorials back when I decided I need to relearn basic shapes before I feel that I'm ready to do art for the game studio I'm helping out with. Oh, that's fucking awesome, dude. Now I've been watching your newest draw with Mikey's to really watch how you're doing your shading because that's where I'm lacking at the moment. I use Clip Studio as a drawing program. That's an excellent program. And it looks similar to Photoshop, but I do realize there are techniques and stuff in the program I don't know how to do. Like when you first start shading after color, you make a new layer that has an arrow on it. Anyway, I still have a lot to learn. Thank you for showing me the ropes. Good sir, Lofeo Studios. I think you're talking about clipping masks. And I dare say that there's something very similar in Clip Studio Paint, probably also called a clipping mask, if not something really similar. But Clip Studio has some other clever things that Photoshop doesn't do and other ways to get around problems. And some would say more naturally than the way Photoshop does it. But that's an entire conversation in itself. Mateus Rodriguez, hello there good sir, says, hey Mike, hello there Mateus. It's my first time on this amazing comment section. Oh, kind sir, welcome in. I really like your voice in the background whilst I have my own sketch time. Oh, thank you. It's the only one I've got. And answering your question, I really enjoy listening to Proco's and a Rant of Coffee podcast. Oh, and cheers from Brazil. Hey, saludos, man, saludos, obrigado. So, Proco is obviously amazing. Proco is one of the real big guys out there. I don't just mean a big YouTuber, but I mean an incredible artist, an incredibly valuable art teacher. And I know he has a podcast called the Draftsman. But I didn't know he had like a more ranty one as well with coffee. I'll have to look that up. He says, drinking his tea. Retarded Shrimpy, hello there, says, hello Mikey. Hey Retarded. I hope you're feeling better soon. Thank you very much. It was 2 months ago. I'm much better now. I've just been crazy busy with some other things. I barely even have a bedroom right now. I'm kind of in the middle of having to sort through boxes and read. There's loads of stuff. Anyway, to answer your question, what do you listen to whilst drawing? Well, it depends on the drawing. Oh, this is a very good point. So when I'm doing fan art, I usually play some soundtracks or openings with just anything with the same theme as the drawing. Listening to your videos is very relaxing. Shut up, you. And whenever a new video comes out, I take a pencil, get some papers, and sketch a little along. Also, Gaku Gurashi is great. Definitely worth watching. I love how it slowly progressed and uncovered what's actually going on. It was amazing. Gaku Gurashi. Okay. Cheers, dude. I'm taking your comment, adding it to the list. There is definitely an entire world of thing in there where people will want to do more aggressive like artwork against like more aggressive hip hop or more aggressive metal, more chilled stuff to chill out beats. Like the music is massively going to affect you as an artist when you're creating a piece. There's no doubt there. So you do need to be a little bit careful. I remember when I had back in A-levels, do we even have A-levels anymore? I don't know, I'm out of touch. When I had some of my final art exams, I kind of had to take 2 years worth of work in 1 year. And when we did our final thing, I remember like we're all in like the classroom getting work done, and I just put on a Radiohead mix. And as you know, Radiohead is, the feel-good hit of the summer. So it was so downbeat, and I think there's a lot of stuff from the Kid A album in there. But my art teacher said it was one of the most detrimental things I could do to the entire classroom. And he kind of assumed that I did it on purpose as a way of sabotaging everyone's art projects, just because the music and the tone of it like can kind of like put you in much more into a introverted mood. Well, Radiohead does that, right? And kill everyone's creativity. Well, good. So anyway, it wasn't my attempt, but definitely I came away from that thinking, wow, yeah, different music is going to have a massive effect on what you create, how you create it, or the amount of energy you put into it. So yeah, it all matters. That's why when people kind of say, look, you always want to take a little bit of time aside for yourself each day to get some drawing done, ideally in, an uninterrupted, relatively quiet environment. Sure, some people prefer the music. Some of you lovely people prefer a bit of rambling in the background. Get yourself a cup of tea. But if you start off with really quiet, you can kind of understand what it is you draw and get really focused into your work. Then start introducing those sorts of things that aren't really distractions and more motivators, like a little bit of music. Maybe for some people, even a podcast or some chatting is going to kind of motivate more than it will distract. Some people even like just putting films on in the background because they're happy enough to half pay attention without constantly having to look up from their page and actually follow along with the movie. But everybody operates differently. It's good that. Beldrag Neil says, Stranger Things is also inspired by an anime called Elfen Lied. Oh! Elfen Lied. Is that the one where... No, excuse me, I haven't quite got my singing lungs in. Is that the one where the intro is like... Oh, God, one sec. La... Okay, maybe I won't sing it. But I'm going to do it a few octaves lower. It's like... La, 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 la... La 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 da 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 da. Okay, fuck. Okay, that was a terrible example. Basically, pink hair girl wears helmet, lots of invisible hands, murder. That's what I'm thinking of. Is that the right one? La 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 la. La 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 dum 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 dum. Nailed it. Okay, great. Kituri says, your uploads always motivate me. Oh, well, I probably just put you off just now, but thank you so much for saying, dude. And Brandon Peterson says, the Guyver remake was in 2003. A horrible time for anime, my friend. I remember all of my friends thought that was the original. Oh, that hurt me. It's such a bad remake. Okay, yeah, that hurt my feelings on the inside. I hope you've all obviously learnt and subsequently seen the original Guyver anime. And hey, even the Guyver film. The first Guyver movie has Mark Hamill in it, question mark. And I want to say it's voiced by David Hayter, the same guy who did all of the Snake voices before they got, the other dude, the guy who plays Jack Bauer, to replace him. What is going on with Metal Gear Solid at the moment? I feel like recently there's just been another video games announcement by Konami and Banco or something. I haven't yet to watch it, but I'm going to stick that on YouTube after I do this episode. Nicholas KH says, I'm screaming, Crisis! It's Crisis! You're screaming. I told you this is Crisis and you're screaming. What was that about? Oh, was I talking about video games that basically shut down your computer because they're secretly benchmarking software from the year 3000? Or was I talking about how the fact it blew my mind when your in-game audio narrative turned out to be the voice of the previous suit's wearer, and then the secret to the Crisis suit is a form of eternal life because it nano absorbs you into the mesh, and the whole time you were listening to, I want to say, Nomad? Man, do you know what? I could, I'm probably never going to play Crisis again, but I could definitely do with a recap video that just covers how fucking awesome it was. I remember losing my mind. Even your menu on screen reshapes itself to be the guy's face. Oh, mate. Yeah. Crisis was something. Guz11 says, hey Mikey, hello there Triple G. I hope you're doing better with a nice cup of tea by your side. Hey, how did you know? One sec. I'm going to stop your comment right there for a sip. I've been working on a comic featuring tiny mice from a game called Transformice. Oh no, Transformers but mice? Mate, where's Biker Mice from Mars? It's old but pretty good in my opinion, and as for games, I've always loved the Ratchet and Clank series. Oh dude, are you quite hyped for the PS5 then? I'm really excited to see the new Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. Oh, that's exactly what I was talking about. Not sure about the PS5, however. If you do have one, you might want to check it out. Yeah, so for me, my thoughts on the PS5, well, my attitude towards any gaming console is never buy it inside of the first 6 months. One, there's all the hype and the pre-sales getting sold out and it's an absolute headache, and it's just a load of parents just pulling their hair out because so-and-so must have a PlayStation 5 for Christmas. That's a nightmare. I just leave it all alone. But also, does anybody remember, I've probably said this before, does anybody remember when a PlayStation 2 came out? One of my friends was one of the first to get them, and they just had a thing where a number of the PlayStation 2 lasers were literally burning concentric rings into the CDs. So, they had, I don't know, we used to joke that it just had these cheap, super powerful ex-military Russian lasers stuck in to save some money. But, it was literally burning holes in people's CDs and ruining the games. So I always find, wait for the first 6 months, let any little things get ironed out. You might not see any physical difference to the console, but after about 6 months, there might just be some slightly smarter bits of materials and equipment on the inside, which kind of avoids some initial kind of teething issues. And also, you can buy it for a reasonable price. I think these things are pre-ordered and being sold on eBay by scumbags scalping and all that kind of nightmare stuff. So basically, there's actually a bit more to this answer. I just kind of rambled. So basically, I do want to get a PS5. I won't be getting one this year. I'm going to wait till next year because Miles Morales, and oh my god, Spider-Man is an absolute sleeper hit. So when it comes to video games, I love RPGs, I love character-focused stuff, I love interesting storylines. I'm not very experienced at MMORPGs or anything like that, and I tend not to play too many combat-heavy fighty games either, like Devil May Cry or any superhero games. However, Spider-Man on a PlayStation 4 caught me off guard. I know everybody was talking about how amazing it was a couple of years ago, but, Mikey's never up to date. And it's in my top 10 video games, quite possibly my top 5. It was a hell of an experience. I genuinely cared about the characters. There's so much emotion in it, and it was so much fun, and it was just... God, it's just such a good game. It's such a good game. This is old news to you guys. Wait a minute, what the hell am I talking about? Oh yeah, so anyway, I am massively pumped, for Miles Morales, but Miles Morales is coming out for the PlayStation 4, so I don't need a PS5. What's the other thing that I'm always masturbating over? Final Fantasy 16, who isn't? But that's not going to be out for, at least a couple years, I'm sure. So yeah, I'm going to get a PS5, probably over an Xbox. I've never played the Halo games. Xbox doesn't have any other exclusives that give me any reason to care for them. Not that I'm hating, it doesn't have to be a war. But yeah, PlayStation's a way to go. And also, the PS4 controller really is probably the nicest, most ergonomic controller I've ever tried as well. Right next to the N64 with its quirky, lovable design. So yeah, I'm down, I'm in, but I'm also patient enough to take a step back, avoid the hype, and let them iron out some inevitable bugs. AxioWatt says, wait. Oh, Axio, how you doing, man? You think that The Promised Neverland isn't worth continuing reading after the first escape arc? Are you nuts, Mikey? The more you learn about the world, the tougher the kid's situation gets. Really? That's not the way I've heard it. The strategy and observation does not die down, nor does the danger, but the implications of the kids getting to safety could affect the world at large. I'm not going to spoil anything, but you can't always go with a popular opinion. You got to investigate these things yourself. But hey, I know that you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink, especially a wild stallion like you, Mikey. Oh, you caught me off guard with that one. All right, you charmer. Oh, shit. Oh, man, I didn't see that coming. Okay, thank you very much. It's very, very kind of you, Axio. So, now this is a thing, it is my personal experience that made me stop. There's nothing worse than thinking something's amazing in the first story arc, keep reading, and you realise they've run out of ideas. It's like Stranger Things. Who mentioned that a minute ago? It's like Stranger Things versus Stranger Things Season 2. You're just like, I love it, the world, the characters, everything that's going on, you've got my attention. And then you watch the second season, and you're just like, Oh, they're out of ideas. Oh, okay. And I never even bothered with the third just because of that. But I will give it a try one day. So yeah, everything seemed to hit that crescendo. It seemed to be the peak of excellent writing, really interesting things happening with the characters, really interesting choices and sacrifices. After the initial escape arc, I read one bit where they're just like, ooh, we're in a forest. And I was just like, Nah, I think we've had the peak. But Axio, you're saying that it really does continue to be good. It really does continue to get better. The reason I went with that other popular opinion is because that popular opinion matched my personal expectations. But seeing as you charmed me with that stallion comment, I might give it a thought or two. Random Banter says, Mikey, taking 16 hours would be a dream. Me, who takes 10 hours to do some artwork. I am a dream. I am speed. And Killian says, hello there, Mikey. Hi there, Killian. I recommend you to play the Halo series. Oh, dude, I've literally just said that I've never been into it. It's my Halo 2 is my personal... Oh, by the way, I'm not close-minded. Tell me. Halo 2 is my personal favourite, but Halo 3 is the community favourite. I'm currently taking a break from drawing anime girls and boobs and trying to... Wait, what else can you draw? And trying to draw some creepy stuff. Oh, anime girls without boobs. Have a great day. No, you have a great day, Killian. I just never got into Halo, man. And the thing is it's such a massive world now, an endless series, that maybe when I'm ready to shuffle off this mortal coil, I might give it a go, but I can't see myself honestly getting into it anytime soon. When it comes to giant space operatic kind of video games, I have played Mass Effect 1 quite a while ago, and despite being kind of old and clunky, I remember loving it for what was going on, and apparently they're remastering the Mass Effect series, so I might start Mass Effect again by playing a remastered version. Oh, and also Demon's Souls. Yeah, I want to give that a good look. Excuse me, I'm burping. It's gross. So yeah, there's a lot going on there. But because of that, I never quite did the Halo. I'm aware of things like Killzone and other series, but never quite Mr. Chief. Is that what you call him, Mr. Chief? Manga Cat says, hey Mikey, hello there Manga Cat. I hope you get better from that apple. Yeah, okay guys, I love you, thank you. And Louise Amamiya says, hey Mikey, hello there Louise, or Lewis. So the neutral end of game in Code Vein actually almost made me cry. Oh, brilliant. Examples again of emotional moments in video games. The neutral ending of Code Vein almost made me cry. As soon as I started turning to stone, spoiler alert, I screamed, and I'm pretty sure my family low-key thought I was having a panic attack. Code Vein, huh? Oh, actually, do you know what? By the way, I'm going to take that as a suggestion. I've recently been playing, guess where? Little Nightmares. So I have like a few different slots of video games I try to fill. Careful, ladies. Like I try to at some point make sure I'm playing a horror video game, a long-term RPG video game, something a bit more actiony, but also, or like a retro thing, but also like a chill video game, something where I can hop onto live stream on Twitch and just hang out with you guys for 2 or 3 hours before bed without really having to work my brain too hard and just kind of really chat with whoever turns up. And so we did Inside and we did Limbo. Both very interesting concepts, all sorts of interesting things going on, kind of creepiness. And then the next thing down the line got strongly recommended to me was Little Nightmares. So recently I completed Little Nightmares, and by the end I was like, whoa, this took a hell of a turning. No spoilers, you're fine. So then I got the DLC, and we recently, just the other week, completed the DLC for Little Nightmares. And mate, when you realise what happens to your character, and then when your character goes in a room and your character's near the piece of food, I was freaking out, man. I was straight up shouting at the TV. I was like, no, no, my God, no. Oh, mate. Yeah, sorry. So anyway, this is a thing. So the reason why I'm shouting and getting all high pitched is because that game, like, it is kind of horrible, but you're invested. Like, it gets you talking, it gets you thinking, and it made me care. So that's like, it's not necessarily a nice process, that game. But like, that is my idea of a really, really good game, because I was invested. It's not even that long. And by the end of it, I was like, I was distraught, basically. So yes, that's my recommendation right now, guys. Me back to you. If you like a bit of gentle gaming with a creepy puzzle vibe and some beautiful kind of fairy tale design, Little Nightmares, Little Nightmares. Although, you guys have been telling me as well to play Ori and the Blind Forest. That's another one on the list. A beautiful game, but apparently it can be a bit frustrating when it's not quite going right. Madeline Hanson says, I was just watching a DWM from April of last year. Oh, why, thank you, an old schooler. And somebody suggested the book Eragon from the series of the Inheritance Cycle. I wanted to make sure it got mentioned again. Oh, hey, thank you. Because it's my favourite book ever. I've got a bit of a dragon obsession, and my 2 favourite childhood dragons were Saphira from Eragon and Spyro from Dragon's Tale. I'm pursuing tattoo artistry right now. Oh, that's awesome. Hey, if you ever want to share anything, let me know. And a big project I'm working on is a Saphira piece and a realistic Spyro to get tattooed on myself. The body is a canvas. Anyway, I hope you're feeling better, and please read The Inheritance Cycle if you haven't. Oh, dude, hey, thank you very much, Madeline Hanson. Do you know what? I was thinking about I was saying this the other day, live, but a conversation that came up from years and years ago. Me and my mates were having a chat about tattoos, and we were kind of walking from one place to another, and I think it was when I was back in college, and we had like this computer room space where everybody like quietly chills out in when you were kind of in sixth form. And the topic was something along the lines of apprenticeships and people practicing tattoos. And we were talking about tattooed pigs, because there's some tattooed pigs in modern art, and apparently pig skins are very tattooable skin if you're practicing. And so we were talking about, like, it's easy to say that, but maybe the pig's not quite so into the concept. So apparently what they did is they either would gas the pigs out a little bit, tattoo them whilst they're asleep, as opposed to maybe kind of, tie them down and then tattoo them against their will. So that was the topic of the conversation. Nice normal chat. And it was just a little bit too far after the conversation had ended to have the right context. And we'd gone from outside and walked into a room full of people working quietly. And without quite thinking about it, like a little bit too late, I just blurted out something along the lines of, oh, I prefer it when they're unconscious, not when they're being held down. Like, I just let that out, apropos of nothing. And I just remember everybody in the computer room just being like, la 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 la. What? So ever since then, I've just been like, yeah, tattooed pigs. Always prefer it when they're unconscious, much more than when they're tied down. But out of context, it's not so good. So, Saphira, good on you for using your own body as the canvas. I hope that's going to work out bloody well. That's really, really dope. TY Scope says, Mikey, I'm pretty sure that we're all interested in your sneaker drawings now. And that, add that tutorial to the notepad. As well as feet, sneakers. Sneakers are great. They're such weird shapes and they cover the feet. Makes an art life much, much easier. And Orda says, Mikey, hello there. It's thanks to you that I got into drawing last year. Yes, Another one. We'll get him. And I've got my dream of... I've got a dream of drawing my own hentai manga one day. Oh god, I hope you're over 18 for this conversation. I'm currently drawing Arbor, a villain from Magi of the Labyrinth of Magic, which is a great anime and manga, by the way. Never heard of it. I'll add it to the list. Because I finished a manga and, of course, searched for some lewds. And as you do, there weren't any. Really? That's not how I understand the internet. So I thought, hell, I'll do it myself. Thanks again, keep up the good work, and it's thanks to you that a lot of us have motivation to keep drawing. Hey, that's super kind of you to say, man. We're all just playing our part. But yeah, guys, come on. Yeah, bud. Yeah, but guys, just go on. Let's do a little bit of drawing. Get on, Master Bruce. How about I'll put this on a nice bit of supper. NateDog526 says, Mikey, mentions the push-up episode. Me thinking all of the sadistic variations on push-ups that exist. Oh, dude, Nate Dog. So as we've talked about before, you are technically allowed just to tell me that I'm a fat bastard, and I'm not allowed to hold it against you. I've just recently started doing a little bit of exercise, groundwork, push-ups, sit-ups and stuff. I feel like it's activated my body's memory of enjoying doing this stuff. I'm no good at it right now, but mate, maybe this could be the start of a journey. Because the thing is, you can always say, hey, I'm going to start doing loads of exercise come Monday. And then you never really do it because you wake up and you're just like, fuck what I said. I'm staying in bed. But yeah, I've been doing a few presses, a few diamonds, a few extra wides. Back in the day, I could do one arm, one leg. So one day I want to kind of reach that point again. Anyway, thank you very much for reminding me. Nash1 says, hey Mikey, hello there Nash, I really enjoyed watching your videos. Oh hey, they really inspired me to draw, and actually I started watching you because I was tired of drawing channels. Oh, you've put it in exclamation marks, so maybe you mean something in specific that is somebody else's channel that you're too polite to name. I would rather see you draw and react to our comments making real content rather than watching things like Draw of Jazza making exclamation mark real content. I just want to say that I appreciate the fact that you didn't do what all of the other art channels does. Oh hey, Nashwan, that's very kind of you to say. Now don't get me wrong, love Jazza, love all the big guys. Jazza doesn't, yeah, and you're right. Jazza very much, and we've said this before, and this is not an attack, there's no hate. This is just an observation. Jazza used to make drawing tutorials. Jazza does not make drawing tutorials anymore. He makes content, which is an entirely different attitude and a different thing to do. He makes art-themed YouTube content. And I can't blame him. He's done all the drawing tutorials. He's made loads of fun episodes. Now he's just, cashing in a bit more and trying to get the views and grow his channel. And you can't blame him. You can't blame a businessman. He still keeps it fun. He makes his videos entertaining. It's just aimed at a different audience. It serves a different purpose. And I just do the exact opposite. I'm not making these quick, smart, snappy videos with really good editing. I don't really know how to, but also it's just not my vibe. I do overly long, hour-long videos, which is a stupid idea on YouTube. And obviously you never want to read the comment section, so I've dedicated an entire series to doing nothing but reading the comment section. Because I'm always interested in the thing that is the bad idea. Whenever somebody says, this is a good idea, this is how you grow your channel, this is how you make good content, this is what all the other YouTubers are doing, my first reaction is brilliant. I'm going to do anything else other than that. But don't get me wrong, I enjoy watching some of that content from loads of people who do it. There's loads of snappy, interesting kind of artists out there, and there's a whole argument and beyond that as well. It doesn't necessarily matter what their content was. If it actually interested you and made you watch, and at the end of it you're more likely to pick up a pencil and do something, well then it's still having a positive effect and doing everything it needs to. However, there's an entire chat to be had in that. I do understand what you're saying, and thank you very much, dude. Yeah, I can only be me. I'm not going to force myself into being something I'm not. I might evolve into something else. The more I do YouTube, the more I might personally genuinely want to make snappier, quicker content just for a laugh, or from time to time try new things. Absolutely, I'm not shutting any doors. But what comes naturally is I prefer kind of just chilling out with you guys and having a chat and having a conversation. That's a bit more who I happen to be. But there's no wrong or right answer to any of that business. Josh Mod says, not going to lie, with all of these anime suggestions, I'm slowly realizing how much of my life has been spent watching this stuff. Oh, dude, every time we talk about a different anime, Josh, are you recognizing that you already know it? Yeah, it happens. You kind of get in, you don't get out. Oh, also, I forgot. Now I remember. I like to give you guys updates onto how far I am in JoJo's. Still halfway through JoJo's Part 4, guys. I've absolutely loved the fact that it's such not a world-changing episode. It's all just set in a town. It's just some kids living their lives. Sometimes it's a dangerous episode. Sometimes it's a random banter episode. The episodes themselves are still really interesting. It's got all of that JoJo style. But it's just like, hey, we're school kids. She's a bit weird, but we're all school kids. He's a bit weird, but he's just a chef opening a restaurant. Don't worry about it. However, that's halfway through the series. So maybe we're going to go into more detail a bit further down the line and things are going to kind of step up. But I'm kind of getting the feeling, question mark, that there's no Dio this particular season. But we've kind of had this chat before. You guys say that Dio kind of... It's kind of like yes and no. Dio does come back in various forms or guises in later seasons. Kind of he does, kind of he doesn't. So I'm super interested. But yeah, I need to get back on that JoJo's wagon. I've just been doing other things, playing other games. Diva Path says he definitely draws the adverts for the sex games. No, I don't. Stop saying that. Thank you very much, sir. And Anarchy Art says, man, that food that I ate and I left in the sun for 2 days made me sick. Let's eat some more sun-baked food. Mikey, 2020. Yeah, okay. Okay, I'm not amazing at food prep and storage, but trust me, you're safe. If I ever invite you around for some meals, you are safe. That being said, side note, I know this is not an art chat. I just want to share some excitement. I quite like sneaking a little bit of peanut butter and stuff into brownie mix. And recently I did some where I added in a tiny bit of Nutella, almond nut butter instead. It's even richer. And a little bit of that dark and white chocolate spread mix you can get. I made some hella brownies, you don't even know. So I got some Aunt Bessie's new brownie mix in. The stuff that's half brownie mix, half peanut butter. I can't wait. I don't know when I'm going to do it. I don't know when I'm going to treat myself, but I absolutely can't wait. And Anita Dark says, hey Mikey, nice work like always. Hey, thank you very much. Here is a game recommendation. Play Code Vein. It's literally anime Souls. I played it as a Soulsborne fan, enjoyed it a lot, has nice waifus if you're looking for something to draw. Hey, Anita, thank you very much. I think Code Vein, was that recently either remade or came out with a new season or version of the game, like, I want to say a year and a half ago, maybe? It's not like a really old title. Is that right? Because I remember a lot of hot waifu character design options. Something definitely to get my sweet paws on. Guys, thank you so much for joining me again after such a break of another episode of Draw of Mikey. I know it's been a while. Sorry if this episode was super derpy. Sorry if I've missed your comment. Of course, go grab your comment from last episode, copy and paste it into tonight's comment section, just so that I can have an opportunity to touch base with you guys and catch up when we do this again next week, episode 141. And of course, just to recap on a question, obviously, if you want to tell me about anything or suggest anything, do it. But the question really is, what is it about games that really suck you in? The story, the plot, the characters, the mystery, or is it pure mechanics? Do you love just MMORPGs and it's all about the raid mechanics and nothing else that you actually still bother coming back for? Get your sweet selves into the comment section and let me know. On screen as well, you might have noticed a few names kind of slowly scrolling past. Those are the incredible, delicious patrons on Patreon. Mikey, you might be asking yourself, if YouTube demonetizes all of your content, why do you still use YouTube? Oh, well, because I quite like you guys, that's why, and I want people to draw. Well, Mikey, how do you afford to eat? Well, that's thanks to those delicious patrons on Patreon. So if you're ever curious about getting loads of stuff, you know the score, you know what Patreon is. Let me just say thank you. I really appreciate it. Lovely to be back. It's not going to be a perfect series of uploads. I've got loads to do. Tablet reviews coming up soon. There's a lot of boxes in my house. The main theme of the day, come join me on Twitch. We're probably drawing Tifa. And other than that, have yourselves a bloody lovely week and take care.
Give me one more chance to show you that I love you. Won't you please let me back in your heart?